start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll let one of the newbies like Jill Galvez lead us in it.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Please rise and place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Hoorah.
Okay, and we do have a quorum. So I'd like to remind everybody of the process, both members and public comments. The committee members will be using their cameras and we will take live public comments, and members are asked to turn on their cameras when they have a comment or question, and then we will recognize you. So if you are a member of the public and would like to speak on an item, please use the raise hand icon on the Zoom toolbar and unmute yourself when you are called upon. Also, remember to mute yourself after the comments. If you are calling into the meeting, please press 9 on the phone if you would like to comment on an item. All comments, whether they are email or live, will be made of today's record. So with that, let's start with the approval of the minutes. And let's see, for December the 4th meeting. And if any member of the public would like to make a comment, please raise your hand now. Francisca, you'll let me know if there's any hands raised.
Thank you, Chair. I don't see any hands raised.
Okay. Are there any members of the Regional Planning Committee that have any comments?
I'd like to say that I wasn't here for that meeting. However, I have reviewed the minutes and I would move to approve.
Okay, thank you. So the motion to approve is made by John Minto. Is there a second?
I'll second that. Rebecca Jones.
Okay, so it's seconded by Rebecca Jones. And can you please call the roll call for the vote, Francesca?
Thank you. For the City of San Diego, Councilmember Elo Rivera.
Yes.
Thank you. For the County of San Diego, Supervisor Lawson Reamer.
Hey.
Supervisor, I'm so sorry. Could you state your vote again?
Yes.
Thank you. For East County, Mayor Minto.
Yes.
Thank you. For North County Coastal, Mayor Gasterland.
I'm going to abstain since I did not participate in that meeting.
Thank you. For North County Inland, Mayor Jones.
Jones, yes.
Thank you. And for South County, Chair Salas.
Salas, yes.
Thank you very much. And that vote does pass with 1 abstention.
Okay, thank you. So up next is item number 2, which is public comments and communications from the members. But before I begin with public comments, I want to welcome our new members, and we have so many of them. So representing North County Coastal is the mayor of City of Del Mar, Terry Gasterland, and representing the County of San Diego, and our new vice chair is Tara Lawson Reamer. And Miss Reamer, I'm going to look forward to working with you and get to know you better. And
Thank you.
Representing the City of San Diego is Councilmember Sean Elo Rivera. And I welcome all of you and look forward to working with you on this committee. Would any one of you like to say anything right now?
Honestly, I just would love to say I'm just so honored to serve as vice chair, and particularly under you, Mayor Salas. I think your leadership and wisdom are legendary, and I'm very much looking forward to getting to know you and working with you. I mean, there's no question that regional planning is absolutely essential to our collective priorities, equity and sustainability and jobs. So I'm just so honored to have this opportunity, and really looking forward to working with everyone.
Well, thank you. And you know, I've known your dad for a long time, so please say hi to your pup for me. Okay.
Thanks.
Proud. Okay.
This is Terry. I'll just remark, I'm joining from my iPhone today. This is my first meeting, and I'll be on video next time. So thank you, everybody, and what an honor to be here.
Sean?
Oh, no, just proud to be representing the city of San Diego, and Mayor Salas, looking forward to working with you and the rest of this committee and doing the important work that we're charged with.
Okay, great. And then we have some awesome alternates as well. So Jill, you want to say something?
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you, and congratulations to the new members. And like all of you, I'm a big fan of our mayor and our chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Sandy Naranjo?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm new, so this is my first meeting, so I'm very proud to be here with you all.
And George?
Yeah, good to be here. I actually was an alternate on this committee many years ago, and I'm currently an alternate representing East County and also an alternate for MTS.
Awesome. And John, you had your hand up too.
Yeah, I thought maybe you just forgot me. I'm a new member of this committee also.
Oh,
But,
you know what? No, you've been around so long. I just thought, no, I'm sorry, John.
no, that's okay. It's just, I want to take this opportunity to say that it's nice to be here because, you know, I like working with you and being a pain in the side for you once in a while.
Thank you very much, John.
You're welcome.
Yes, I put up with you. Okay. So Francisca, do we have any members of the public?
Yes, ma'am. I do see a hand from Brian. If you'd like to unmute yourself, you can go ahead with your comments. Brian, at the moment, you're self-muted.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. Brian, it looks like you're muted again. If you can go ahead and unmute yourself, you can go ahead with your comments.
Hello?
Okay, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm also a new member from the Water Authority.
Oh.
So
Welcome.
just say hello.
Welcome, Brian. I'm sorry, since we didn't have your last name there, we didn't realize which Brian you were, but we'll have the production team promote you to a panelist so you can engage in discussion throughout the meeting.
Thank you, Brian. Any other raised hands?
Yes, we have one more hand from phone number ending in 4727. If you'd like to make a comment, you can press *9, or I'm sorry, *6.
Hello, this is Mona Rios. Can you hear me?
Oh,
yes,
hi.
Councilmember Rios.
So sorry.
Hi. I'm on the phone today as well, and I am an alternate. But like some of you, not new to the Regional Planning Committee, I too represented in an advisory capacity MTS. But I'm so glad to be part of this group of folks. I've heard all of you introduce yourself, and it's going to be an exciting year. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, Mona. So with that, we'll go on to the executive director's report. And I hear that we're going to be hearing from Hassan this afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mayor Salas. Good to see you. I am too excited about working with you and our new Vice Chair, Supervisor Lawson Rimmer. Welcome all of the new members to the committee. I hope you will enjoy your time here. You know, it is one of those opportunities to talk about important policy discussion issues. I am here ready with my team to support you, to lead us into the future. Your liaison to this committee is Tuwari Fayola. She is an amazing person, and you will find out soon enough that she is one of the best we have here at San Diego. I'm gonna give a couple of updates that are important to you. One, as you know, we had Sandag got sued by some of our member cities on the regional housing need assessment. We just received word that the lawsuit filed against Sandag over the regional housing need assessment allotment was dismissed. So this is good news for the agency, and we will keep you and the board informed of any other matters should arise. We just yesterday completed a 3-day orientation with the board and alternates, and I want to thank those of you who were able to attend for a very lively discussion on policy, strategic planning, regional transportation plan, and others. I know that we throw a lot at you, but be patient. This is not the only time we're going to talk, especially to the new members. We're always available to answer your questions, meet with you one-on-one. If you are unable to join us in this last 3 days, we have the sessions recorded. And if you wish to have those recorded, we'll be happy to send to you. I'm continue to be amazed of our staff, our team. They're really amazing. And I think they gave you a lot of information in the last 3 days. Just to recap the discussion and commitment to equity statement. As you know, the board last meeting did not approve it, but created an ad hoc subcommittee. The ad hoc subcommittee met and unanimously forwarded to the board pretty much the same statement with one word added, that's fund, to the statement. This is going to go to the board next Friday. And I hope after the approval, we move forward and start working on the equity criteria that we're going to be used for our plans and programs. Thank you all for participating in this important discussion. You know, today this committee will be asked to approve a name change for our community base group to social equity group. So this is timing couldn't be any better to have these kind of discussions. The ad hoc committee chaired by Lemon Grove Mayor Vasquez made a one-word change to the statement and forwarded it to the board. Next week, we look forward to the finalization of this process. Next week, the regional transportation plan, the 5 big moves, Colleen and her team will be talking to the board. You heard about this, obviously you got update, and we're going to give you more updates on the 5 big moves, but I'm happy to report that this planning driven approach has been nationally adopted as a cutting edge for how to plan for the future. This 5 big moves is about reimagining the future of transportation system in San Diego. It is about allowing San Diegans to dream, and with your leadership, we will make this dream reality. So look forward to talking to you more about the 5 big moves as we move forward. Our largest infrastructure project in San Diego history, the Mid-Coast, is moving on time, on schedule. We just refinanced the TIFIA loan that saved $123 million over the life of the loan. That's $123 million of saving that our staff managed to do. The fairest and only agency that's able to use the TIFIA without any change to the agreement, without any changing the substance. So I'm proud of the team that make this happen. The crew now is finishing the Noble Drive trolley station parking structure. Later this month, you see San Diego will celebrate the lighting of its university sign that span over the Gilman Bridge. That the project was part of the Mid-Coast. We partner with Caltrans and the university on. As you, I'm anxious in this summer to see these red cars operating for trials, and anxious and looking forward to the opening of this one-seat ride from the border to San Diego State University. Moving on to Mar Bluff, as you know, we finished the fourth phase and we secured the funding, identified the funding for the next two phases, 5 and 6. 5 and 6 will temporarily stabilize the phase. But to have reliable passenger and freight movement on that second busiest corridor in the nation, we are serious about permanently moving the bluff. Yes, we hear a lot about, oh, it's expensive, it's too difficult. You know, you can't fight nature, but nature will win at the end of the day. You can't continue to spend money on temporary solution that just that, temporary. So look forward to working with you on the corridor study that looks at moving that track inland and the cost option, the options available and their cost. NCTD, or North County Transit Agency, is upgrading its transit using money from SB1 and from SANDAG. They received $47 million from the state, $58.8 million last year from our board. And you're going to see this new car, and I'm sure the passengers will enjoy it. Otay Mesa 2 on State Route 11 is moving as fast as humanly possible. I think we have now a new deadline for opening Otay Mesa 2, and that is September of 2024. Hopefully we'll have a facility built. Mayor Salas, that concludes my report. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Hassan. I froze up and it was kicked off the meeting for a while, so I missed some of it, but I imagine it was very informative. So do we have any public comments on Hassan's report? Francesca, do we have any hands raised or anyone that would want to comment?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't see any hands raised. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any members of the committee or alternates that would like to ask questions of Hassan at this time? Okay, I guess not. So with that, we will go on to the rest of the agenda. And the first three items are on consent. And is there a request to pull an item from committee members or a member of the public? Francesca, are there?
No, Chair, I don't see any hands.
Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion for the consent calendar.
Move approval.
Okay, I can't see you, but I assume that's Rebecca.
Sorry, yes, Rebecca. Move approval.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
This is Terry Gasterland for North County. I'll second.
Okay, great. So we have a motion and a second. Francisca, can you call the roll on the vote, please?
Thank you, Chair. For the City of San Diego, Councilmember Ela Rivera.
Yes.
Thank you. For the County of San Diego, Supervisor Lawson Reamer.
Aye.
Thank you. For East County, Mayor Minto.
Minto, aye.
Thank you. For North County Coastal, Mayor Gasterland.
Gasterland for North County. Aye.
Thank you. For North County Inland, Mayor Jones.
Jones, yes.
Thank you. For South County, Chair Salas.
Salas, yes.
Thank you very much. And that item passes unanimously.
Okay, we'll go on to item number 4, which is an action item. And the committee is asked to approve a charter update reflecting the name change to one of our working groups, the 2021 Regional Plan Community-Based Organizations Working Group, to the Regional Plan Social Equity Working Group. And here to discuss the change is Jane Clue.
Hello, Chair Salas. Yes, so the topic today, actually the changing of the working group, you just already approved that, which was wonderful. Yes. That was part of the consent items.
Okay, that was 7 that we're going on to, so sorry.
Yeah, No worries. And that's actually terrific because I was just about to say that my name is Jane Clough. I'm a senior regional planner here at Sandag, and I coordinate the social equity work in the regional plan. I coordinate the now social equity working group, which is made up of community members from organizations from environmental justice communities from around the region. So today we're talking about a very exciting new advance, which is the development of a regional social equity planning framework that will be part of the 2021 regional plan. So the 2021 regional plan has been developed through a data-driven and informed process that's from input from the diverse community, including our environmental justice network of community-based organizations, input from our policy advisory committees, such as yourselves, and the board of directors, all resulting in a transformational network to create a system that is fast, fair, and clean for all San Diegans. To advance the goal of providing a fair transportation network, a regional social equity planning framework has been developed to guide how we approach, incorporate, and prioritize social equity in all Sandag plans, programs, and projects. Sandag is committed to prioritizing equity and inclusion as an organization in our work serving this region. We acknowledge that we have much to learn and much to change, and we firmly uphold equity and inclusion for every person in the San Diego region. This includes historically underserved and systematically marginalized groups impacted by actions and inactions of all levels of our government and society. Through this framework, we will take a collaborative approach to ensure that our investments lift up people and households and communities to create a region where every person can engage, benefit, and thrive. Can you move to the next slide? So in order to develop this framework, we've partnered with community-based organizations from environmental justice communities, considered best practice research in equitable planning, and supplemented that with data collection and analysis. In this process, we've identified 5 inter-reliant actions, which form the basis for the Sandag Regional Social Equity Planning Framework. To be successful, these 5 actions rely on continuous learning, forming collaborative partnerships, and recognizing that community members know best how they experience and want to experience our region. Next slide. So engagement. The first piece is engagement. Elevating engagement with low-income people of color, as well as people with disabilities, or those with limited English, early and throughout the planning process in a timely and meaningful way through strategies that are respectful of each community's cultural context and their expertise in using the system, and ensuring that what we learn translates into solutions. Next slide. Then data accountability. We need to use data to drive and inform the planning process in conjunction with thoughtful and representative community engagement. We recognize that data is inherently biased and often perpetuating decisions that have long divided communities and resulted in inequitable access to opportunities. Sandag will work from a perspective of human-centered design, dialogue, and partnership to identify those biases, account for them, correct for them, and when feasible, collect new data to resolve these inadequacies. Next slide. And then from there, measuring impact. Measure and understand the benefits and trade-offs of our plans, programs, and projects to the communities they should serve by working closely with them to communicate and solicit feedback that informs the decision-making process. Next slide. And then to prioritize investments. Based on the understanding we gain of community priorities and local, state, and federal goals and regulations, we need to establish a new methodology to prioritize investments in plans, programs, and projects that are projected to benefit people with low incomes, people of color, disabilities, or those with limited English, such as prioritizing investments that provide access to jobs, education, and healthcare. Next slide. And then to monitor, report, and evolve. Conducting ongoing monitoring and reporting to evaluate the actual benefits or negative impacts to people with low incomes, people of color, disabilities, and those with limited English as plans, projects, and programs are implemented. Using the outcomes of this reporting to inform future plans, projects, and programs, and to learn from the process and evolve. This is the start of a conversation. Much of this has to come from our conversations with our environmental justice communities, with our policy advisory committees, and with the board, reflecting on past practices and lessons learned. We have an opportunity to make a sea change in how we approach planning to lift up those who need it the most so that everyone can participate fully in our region. And with that, if there are any questions, that's the end of my presentation. Go ahead to the following slide, I think. Or to the, maybe to back up to the first slide. Thank you, Chair Salas. And if there are questions and comments.
I'll make a comment. I don't have a question. I just really wanted to thank you for drafting this framework and seeking community input. I mean, as someone who has been professionally engaged most of my adult life in dealing with data and evidence-based policymaking, I am particularly pleased to see a commitment to equity and correcting historic biases that is grounded in data collection. I really think it's impossible to chart a data-driven path to equity if the data itself is biased. Also, just want to note that measuring the impact of the investments is also vital. And at the board, Supervisor Fletcher and I are spearheading a similar effort to prioritize the measurement of policy and project impact. So just thank you so much for this work, and really excited to be able to help support it to move forward.
Wonderful.
Yes, you know, Tara, thank you very much for those comments. And I'm really happy that we're getting a new woke in the San Diego region, and actually throughout the United States, a growing awareness of the historical inequities of many communities. And I think that, you know, we all saw that, especially with what we're suffering here with the COVID pandemic, and how communities are not being affected in the same way. And so I'm really pleased to see the work of the committee, and the commitment that SANDAG has to, you know, rectify this problem. Do we have any public comments on this before I turn it over to discussion with the committee?
No, Chair, I don't see any hands raised from the public.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments from the members of this committee?
Mayor Salas,
yes.
Yeah, I have a question, if that's all right.
Yes, you know, oh, Sean, it's you? Okay,
yes.
Go ahead. For some reason, I'm not seeing the gallery view.
No problem. I do have a question, but first I want to thank Jane, Sarah, and Jenny for the report here. I am especially appreciative, Jane, of the sincerity with which you presented this with. These terms can become a bit cliche at times, and as they're used more and more, there's almost a numbing effect. And as someone who pays a lot of attention to this, I just appreciate you seeming like you really do care about it and you mean it. And the more our public institutions do that, the better off our communities will be. I also want to appreciate the shift in SANDAG's leadership in addressing these issues. As I come to SANDAG having been here before as an advocate, and I can tell you that in those initial experiences as advocating for a more equitable approach and more equitable engagement, it did not always feel like we were being received with open arms. And so I just want to appreciate the shift there. I do have a question though. As we move forward with regional plan work at SANDAG, and with this social equity framework in mind, there's obviously collaboration with other agencies in the region, such as MTS, NCTD, and other stakeholders is going to be very important. Are there any plans for bringing everyone together under this framework?
So I think that because the framework is informing the regional plan, it can't help but do so. And I think that as there are different elements of the policies that will evolve from the regional plan, that we are the region, right? The jurisdictions are the region. I don't know, Colleen, if you want to elaborate a little more.
If I may add to that, Jane. Yes, Council Member, thank you for your question. It's a statement is a statement unless you follow it with action, doesn't mean anything. So you need to judge us by the actions we're going to take. But to develop a criteria that we apply to everything we do at Sandag is not going to be easy. And like the supervisor mentioned, sometimes the data use is already biased to start with. So you need new data. I think Colleen is here and can speak to this. We're committing that before the adoption of this regional transportation plan, we have all the technical work for the criteria and the data available. We're actually want to have it much earlier so it can influence our decisions and what we move forward in the regional transportation plan. But you absolutely should hold us and expect us, like the mayor alluded to, Mayor Salas alluded to not just making statement, but making action that tangibly change the lives of many people in San Diego. Colleen, on the timing, can you?
If I may, Chair Salas, just to
Yes.
respond to the council members' points, which are excellent. And so this framework that Jane has gone through will become part of the regional plan. So by its very nature, it helps to guide the regional investments in the regional plan. It will also guide all Sandag planning, including what we call the RTIP, the short range transportation plan, which is 5 years. And that involves all 19 member agencies. It also involves the 2 transit agencies. So that is at least one way that this sort of shapes everything we do in the region. There's certainly more to come, discussions that need to be had with the Sandag Board of Directors to really refine that guidance, but that's what this framework is really setting up. So thank you for that question and appreciate all the comments, and your input is so valuable in this process. So we really appreciate that.
Thank you, Jane and Colleen and Hassan, and thank you, Mayor Salas, for the time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Gasterlin.
Yes, so my other hat is being a professor at UCSD, and I watch the lines of students who are waiting to get on the buses and either go home or go to their home that's more affordable and not in La Jolla where the university is. So I'd like to remind this committee that some of the stepping stones for social equity are in fact the transportation that get the students from their home to their high school or elementary school. And then if they're in high school and they're an outstanding student, but their parents work and can't get them, to the next thing, public transportation again to get to the community college, perhaps for evening classes. And then to get between the community colleges and the universities, this is a part of the network that will contribute to combating social equity in the long run in a meaningful way. I think our San Diego area plan can play an important role here. So I'd like to see the schools from elementary school all the way up through the community colleges and the local universities, San Diego State as well, all interconnected and through this plan. Thank you.
Yeah, well spoken. Let's see, Miss Jones, Mayor Jones.
Thank you. I just wanted to bring up that it should also make sure that the framework includes housing and transportation, because housing is a big part of this. And, you know, we approve lots of affordable housing in San Marcos. We love it. We see how well it works, how it benefits our community and our lower income residents. But, you know, oftentimes we have about 6,000 people on the waiting list for every single affordable housing development. And we have a lot of affordable housing. We have about 7.2% of our entire housing stock is deemed deed restricted affordable. So I think bringing that into the conversation and making sure that we try to find funding for that. I know I talk about this an awful lot, but it's really a struggle for us in San Marcos because, again, you know, we are approving this housing, and I know that you know, some of the communities are resistant to affordable housing. There's been a lot of discussion of, well, I hate to say it, but you know, they don't want those people living in their community. And you know, the problem is that a lot of people, this is a short-term situation, but you know, there's a lot of people that are long-term people that would benefit from affordable housing, but we're not able to provide it to them. So, you know, we have a lot of obstacles because North County tends to be more rural in nature. And so we've got, you know, affordable housing that's not being built. We have no way for them to get around. And so we've got all this disparity, I think, within North County too. And I'm not saying that anyone's saying it's just South County. I'm not saying that, but I feel like sometimes North County gets left out of the discussion. And I just want to make sure that we're also exploring, again, the transit connections and, you know, back to what Councilmember Gasterland had said, you know, community colleges are very important as well. But we also have CSU San Marcos, which we just had the report to the community yesterday. And there are a lot of first-time college students at CSU specifically that are first-generation college students, and we need to make sure that we are also serving them too. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up as part of the conversation. I think it's really important. So anyway, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So this is an informational item only, and so you know, we're unless anybody has any additional comments or questions, we can. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, just thank you, Jane and Colleen. Excellent presentation. But I just want the members of the committee to know that, and I think Mayor Castellan and Mayor Jones mentioned this. We are going to take into the board shortly. I think maybe next month. A regional policy discussion of making youth transit passes and seniors free. Obviously, that means we have to come up with, you know, somewhere in the neighborhood of $20 to $25 million as a region to fill that gap. But I believe very strongly that given the discussion of who's the most users and who's the least that can afford, the region probably will be better off giving the ridership and the greenhouse gas emission and the vehicle mile travel. But I think this committee will see shortly a proposal from staff. Obviously, the board makes a decision, not the staff, but you'll see a proposal to say, it's time to start acting on some of these things we're talking about. And, you know, it's not a lot. I mean, it is a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money compared to the things we invest on fixed infrastructure. So stay tuned for more discussion, data-driven discussion about how we move forward on all those issues that you mentioned. But I do appreciate the questions and the comments today.
Okay, thank you very much, Hassan. So with that, we'll move on to item number 8, which is a continued public comments. Francesca, do we have any members of the public that would wish to speak?
No, Chair, I don't see any hands.
Okay, well, thank you all for participating in this meeting. That comes to the end of our meeting, and so we will reconvene this committee at 12:30 p.m. on Friday, March the 5th, and until then, have a great weekend.